Hi, I'm back. So, where we left off was Shrek facing the knight. So, as I read this part, try to figure out where in the hero's journey this part might land. So, let me close that. Here we go. They soon came to a drawbridge where a suit of armor stood. Shrek knocked on the breastplate and demanded, "Who dwells inside this armor and also in yonder castle?" "In here a fearless knight, in there a well-born fright," was the answer. "It's my princess," said Shrek, "the one I'm to wed." "Over my dead body," roared the fearless knight. "Over your dead body," Shrek agreed. "Not so brave, thou churlish knave," countered the knight. "Do me the honor to step aside so Shrek can go and meet his bride." "The magician's mercury, plumber's lead, I smite your stupid scabby head." And the knight smote. Shrek popped his eyes, opened his trap, and bellowed a blast of fire. The knight, red hot, dove into the stagnant moat. Okay, let's stop for a second and think of where that might go. If you are thinking heroic deeds, you are right. So remember, there will be many heroic deeds in the hero's journey. So this is the second one we wrote down. So I wrote, Shrek shoots fire out of his eyes and drives the knight into the moat. With a nasty snort of triumph, Shrek crossed the bridge and marched into the castle. And there, for the first time ever, he found out what fear was. All around him were hundreds of hideous creatures. He was so appalled he could barely manage to spit a bit of flame. All those horrid others spat back. He started to run. They all ran. He lashed out at the nearest one, but what he struck was glass. Shrek was in the Hall of Mirrors. "They're all me," he yodeled. "Me!" He faced himself, full of rabid self-esteem, happier than ever to be exactly what he was. So what part is this? This one's kind of tricky. I think it's two. It's the labyrinth. And the labyrinth in the hero's journey can be an actual labyrinth or maze, or it could just be a state of extreme confusion. In this case, it really is a maze. It's a hall of mirrors. But it's also the spiritual rebirth. It's also known as the swallowing up motif. So he was lost in this hall of mirrors, but then he sees himself, who he truly is, and he's happy. He's full of rabid self-esteem, and he's happy. He has this rebirth. If you need to pause the recording, go ahead and pause it. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on going. Wait, let me go back a tiny bit. All right. So let me pause the recording because I have to find the script. This one is cut off. Hold on a sec. So this part says, he strode on in, his fat lips fell open. There before him was the most stunningly ugly princess on the surface of the planet. "Apple strudel," Shrek cried. "Cock-a-doo-doodle," cooed the princess. Said Shrek, "Your horny warts, your rosy wens like slimy bogs and fusty fens thrill me." Said the princess, "Your lumpy nose, your pointy head, your wicked eyes so livid red, just kill me." So this I would call, because she's a fright, the knight told us she was, is the encounter with evil. So find number 12. It's the climax of the book. So it's his greatest evil that he faces. And I wrote, Shrek meets the most ugly princess on the surface of the planet. Pause this if you need to, otherwise I'm going to keep going. Said Shrek, "Oh, ghastly you with lips of blue, your ruddy eyes with carmine styes enchant me. I could go on, I know you know the reason why I love you so. You're ugly." Said the princess, "Your nose is so hairy, oh let us not tarry. Your look is so scary, I think we should marry." Shrek snapped at her nose. She nipped at his ear. They clawed their way into each other's arms. Like fire and smoke, these two belonged together. So they got hitched as soon as possible, and they lived horribly ever after, scaring the socks off all who fell afoul of them. Ah. Okay, so that's the end. Now let's see what we got in the hero's journey. I think it's number 16, the triumph. In the end, good triumphs over evil, usually at great cost. Obviously, this is a little different because they're both kind of evil, but Shrek does triumph and get what he wants. So I wrote Shrek and the princess fall in love and get married. Of course, pause this if you need to. Otherwise, let's keep going. Also, it's the change. So Shrek is married to a princess and no longer belongs in a black hole, his former home. He made less of an emotional change than most heroes, but still, there's a change. Okay, and then go back to the very beginning of your chart and note numbers 1 and 2. So in the hero's journey, there's a physical journey, like Shrek made from the black hole to a castle. And then there has to be personal growth. So I wrote he used to be a simple ogre in a swamp, and now he is a prince. I assume so, since he married a princess. Okay, now if you need more time, pause this. Otherwise, here's your task. You now want to go through the next column over where you will write down the traits of the hero's journey you see in your own book. Just identify as many as you can find. Of course, you won't find all of them. All right, that's it. Thank you and happy journeying. Bye-bye.